Okay, so welcome back. We're going to pick up at chapter 22, and it says, chapter 22, I thought the minutes would come out right after the next meeting, but it took a few days. I called Zoe as soon as I saw them. The school board has determined that none of the suicides were related to episodes of bullying and harassment, I read to her. What? She screamed into the phone. The policy does not need review at this time, I continued. That's it. That's all it says. Oh, she said, I didn't think they were going to be super helpful, but this is worse. It's just saying it never happened. Oh, God. She was quiet for a minute. Well, there's nothing that should really prevent the GSA from being official, since other schools have them. I guess that's what we should focus on now. So at least there's a safe place. She sounded really sad. I bet she did. She's worked very hard to make sure that this is a thing in a safe area, Zoe, for everyone. Chapter 23. At the next meeting, Zoe asked Salazar again why we hadn't been approved. The proposal has been sitting on Mrs. Rice's desk for months. Miss Carney was supposed to be the GSA advisor, but she was transferred. She asked me to do it. Salazar looked down at his hands. Miss Rice asked me to take gay out of the name, he said, and everyone snorted. I said no. GSA was the name used in most schools, including others in the district. Then she wanted permission slips from parents. Emilio Belt, yeah, he freaked out. He absolutely. Obviously, that's a no-go, too. Lots of kids aren't out to their parents, and other students' organizations aren't required to do that. And now she's just sitting on it, Salazar finished. When, Zoe said carefully, did you last ask her about it? Salazar sighed. Months ago. I'll ask again, I promise. You guys are being brave. I need to be, too. Even if. We all looked away. Tyler changed the subject. We meet again a few days later because Salazar has good news. Good news, he says. The principal approved the GSA once I hinted that there could be legal problems if she didn't. Everyone cheered. Less good news, he said. I can't be the advisor. Everyone looked shocked. The principal heard that we were meeting on school property without permission. She appointed a counselor, Mrs. Lopez, to be the advisor. If I remember correctly, Mrs. Lopez was the advisor that wasn't of any help to some of the students that were going to her about being bullied. But can she do that? Asked Zoe angrily. Just deciding who the advisors will be? Salazar nodded. Any kind of after-school thing means extra pay for the staff person, so they always have to be approved. And she also said she thought a counselor was more appropriate given the psychological needs of students in the GSA. No. You need psychological guidance sometimes because you feel as if you're beaten down, no matter what you are or who you are. I don't give a damn. But the whole pray the gay away thing, no. And this is just my statement. In the Bible, it does say, I've created all in my eyes. All are perfect. So if that's the case, then God made no mistakes. I'm sorry. Is what it is. If he made somebody gay, that's the way it is. Lady Gaga said it. I was born this way. All right? Deal with it. I'm sorry. I had to add that in there. Everyone started talking angrily at once. Salazar waved his hands. I'm really sorry, he said, but I have to ask you to leave. I'll get written up if there are more unofficial meetings. You'll have to talk to Mrs. Lopez about the next meeting. And I can see where this is going. We all turned to go. As we trickled into the hallway, Salazar called out, You're always welcome to come talk to me any time. Before we split up, Zoe said she'd talk to Lopez. She turned to me, frowning. I've got some errands. Otherwise, I'd offer you a rise. No problem, I muttered. I felt like failure all around. The bad policy was still there. The GSA might turn out to be a joke depending on what Mrs. Lopez was like. I trudged home. Yeah, but you can't do anything else right now. You got to take it all in. You got to plan your next move. Chapter 24. The newspaper had only a paragraph after the school board said it saw no connection between the suicides and bullying. I don't think anyone except us noticed it. Then everything changed. This time my mom had the paper open at my spot at the table when I came down for breakfast. On the front page of the local section, the headlines read, Another student suicide. Is district policy to blame? The fact that we had to get to that point. It was a kid from another high school, but the details were all too familiar. Bullying, related to sexual orientation, the paper said. Friends claimed that teachers had been aware of the bullying, but hadn't done much. Sometimes they'd say, that's inappropriate, and one girl they interviewed, but they never really stepped in and to help Luke. Okay, so this child's name is Luke that has committed suicide now. The school board could not be reached for comments, the article concluded. There was a little box, too, about suicide epidemic and whether it was true that suicide was catching like a cold. No. At school, people were buzzing about it. It had been going on right under everyone's nose, but now people were noticing. I said this to Zoe at lunch. She nodded. My parents know Luke's parents, though. PFLAG, she said. Maybe I should know this, I interrupted. But what is PFLAG? Parents, families, and friends of lesbians engaged, she said. So PFLAG. I've always personally liked the Jibberquah. Somebody did it online, and I was like, I'm never going to forget that. Sometimes my parents are a little too into it, you know? Like they want to participate in every part of your life because they think that will keep you from separating from them or something. Anyways, this guy, Luke, his parents are lawyers. I just looked at her confused. They might get more from the school board than we did, she said. Oh, I said, nobody really knew what might happen with lawyers involved, so we focused on the GSA. Did you talk to Lopez, I asked. Yeah, twice, said Zoe. She said she's totally busy. Lots of students are showing up in her office and parents are calling her about their kids cutting and stuff like that. Suicide epidemic, I thought. I pointed out that the GSA could support people who feel desperate. At any rate, if she doesn't make time for it soon, we could ask the principal for an advisor who actually has time to meet, Zoe said fiercely. I nodded, not sure I would be brave enough to do that. You never know until you find out. Chapter 25. I went to join my friends at our lunch table after talking to Zoe. They hadn't really said anything about it, but they also were always in the middle of some big conversation when I sat down. Usually I just listened, and then lunch was over. Simple, but today Jenny turned to me. Bella? This is going to sound weird, but are you okay? I mean, I just feel like we've been kind of distant lately. Withdrawn from friends is one of the signs, she said, tears in her eyes. They're worried about their friend committing suicide. Kesha was watching me, but Kim kept eating like nothing was happening. Before I could say anything, Jenny continued. With all this going on, I just, feel like every time I say goodbye to someone that I don't know if I'll see them again. She started to sob. Kesha put an arm around her. Kim put down her spoon to hold Jenny's hand. Part of me wanted to roll my eyes. But these were my friends. I had been pulling away, and maybe it was time to stop. And I got what Jenny was saying. And a lot of people our age were killing themselves. It didn't make you look around and wonder who's next. Or it did make. No, Jenny, I'm okay, really, I said softly. But I'm sorry if it seems like I've been blowing you guys off lately. I took a deep breath. The thing is, I've been helping that girl Zoe try to start the GSA for our school. And we went with a bunch of other kids to the school board meeting to talk about the policies and why it's bad. I paused. Why didn't you tell us, said Kim, looking me in the eyes. I blushed. I guess I wasn't sure how you'd feel about it, or what you might think. Kesha jumped in. We're not prejudiced, she said angrily. But does that mean there's something else you need to tell us, too? I shook my head, not really getting what she was asking, or at least not wanting to get it. At the same time, Kim, said Kesha, it's a gay straight alliance. Anyone can join. Sounds like something we need at this school and every school. I don't know why the school board has their heads so far up their butts to think that something like that would be the problem. Seems better that kids killing themselves, right? Everyone nodded. Then the bell rang. So we're going to leave off. Or maybe not. We're only at 9 minutes. No, we're not. We're going to continue on. So they're mad. And these girls are finally seeing what their friend is into and what's going on. Chapter 26. Zoe finally got a date from Mrs. Lopez. It was kind of last minute, but the 6 of us were there in the library waiting when Mrs. Lopez rushed in. Sorry, I had a student appointment that ran over, she said. She looked tired and annoyed. So, is there anything you need to do? Zoe asked Lopez. Lopez looked confused. Like, to make this an official meeting? Zoe was trying to be polite, but she sounded a little snarky. Mrs. Lopez sighed. No. I'm just here because every student club has to have a faculty advisor. But if you'd like me to facilitate and get the ball rolling, I'm happy to. Does anyone have a joy or concern to share? She got a lot of blank stares. Then Zoe said, I thought we would talk about plans to get the word out about the GSA now that it's official. I mean, now that it exists. Posters. Goody, said Tyler, pulling some markers out of his bag. I've been practicing my bubble letters just in case. Yeah, in a minute, said Zoe. But we also need to talk to someone on the school newspaper. And can we set a time for the next meeting so we can put it on the poster and get it in the morning announcement? She looked at Lopez. I'll check my calendar while you work on posters, Mrs. Lopez muttered. Tyler grabbed some paper out of the printer. I'll go charm some bigger stuff out of the art teacher. Ooh. He said, start with this. We came up with the list of slogans to use and got going. You're not alone, I wrote, trying to get it to space evenly. Emilio was drawing rainbows in every corner of his paper. Lopez came back and said she could meet again in 2 weeks. I'm just really booked after school. A lot of students are hurting, she said self-importantly. Sometimes it helps to have something positive to do, Zoe said, not looking up as she wrote gay, lesbian, bi, transgender, queer, questioning on her poster. I thought maybe as a group we could go to the rally for the marriage equality next Friday. We can make some posters about that, too, and meet at school to carpool. Lopez eyed Zoe's poster like she wanted to say something about it. Of course, any of you can go to this rally on your own with your parents, she said smoothly. I'm not sure as a school relate it. I don't think it's a topic that is of great concern to many people your age. I don't think many are thinking about marriage yet, she laughed loudly. Zoe's mouth opened. Then she narrowed her eyes. Gosh, she said sarcastically, I guess when you were our age, it wouldn't have bothered you at all to know that you might never be able to get married in the same way as everyone else. Lopez flushed and looked angry. I'm going if anyone needs a ride, said Zoe, turning back to her poster. She drew 2 little stick girls with their arms around each other. Going to what? Tyler asked as he breezed in with big sheets of paper. Oh, the rally. I'm getting a ride from June, so I'll see you there. June? I whipped my head around fast. Yeah, June with the super long hair, you know. Her mom's a lesbo. Zoe shot him a look. What? We need to take back the language. Make it ours, said Tyler. He tapped. Okay. Zoe's poster. See, like queer used to be an insult. Go ahead, call me out. Let's try to keep our language appropriate for school, interrupted Lopez. Some people find those terms offensive. Then she buried her nose in the newspaper and barely looked up when we went to hang up the posters in the hall. Oh, isn't that nice? I like, though, that they're taking a stand. I like that Zoe still got her sass, even in the face of an adult, because she's trying to figure the world out, too. So, you know. That's just my thought. I do like the character development, though, and how they've started to move on, even with a different advisor. We're now seeing even Tyler and Emilio are coming out of their shell, and they're becoming more them. They were already them, but they don't fear, even with an advisor there, saying what they want. They can be told to make it more appropriate, but they don't fear saying the words. So we're going to leave off here, and we'll pick up on chapter 27. And hopefully I think this will be the last. Yeah, because I think we're almost at the end. So chapter 27, and we'll finish up next time. Everybody have a great day.